Do you just keep dying to lights? Are you tired of getting tased by light players and you just don't know how to deal with them? Hopefully, this video can fix that. In this video, I'll be telling you exactly how you can counter light players, and I'll be showing multiple loadouts that are especially effective at countering lights. But first, to be able to effectively counter a light player, you need to understand them. Every light player's major weakness is the small HP pool of light, which is only 150 points. Naturally, this means that if they aren't careful, there are many things that can kill them very easily. Because of this, good light players will take off angles and use a hit and run playstyle, and will usually try to capitalize off of any disadvantage that they might see with the movement provided by their kit. Additionally, playing as a light requires you to effectively maneuver around cover. High ground is especially good for lights, allowing them to get a lot of damage in before simply backing up to avoid taking any damage themselves. Lights also have a lot of utility that is very good at defending cash outs. They have every grenade, gateways, stun gun, thermal bore, and C4, all of which are very good at keeping players from taking the cash out. The final thing that light players will do is try to isolate 1v1s. This means that they will try to get you while you are out on your own and often hit you with a stun gun or a glitch grenade before melting you down in seconds. So they seem pretty powerful, but it's actually not very hard to counter them, if you know what to do. All of the advantages I mentioned previously can be exploited with the proper tactics. The first thing to remember is that lights only have 150 health, meaning that there are certain things that kill them very fast. A well-placed heavy RPG will usually leave them at 10 health, meaning you only need to hit a single bullet to kill them. Additionally, all shotguns and weapons like the FAMAS kill them absurdly fast. You might also want to consider landmines and glitch traps, as when they are running around the map at Mach 10, they might not consider that there could be a landmine behind the door they're about to burst through. The winch clock can also be a death sentence to lights, and if they are running dash, I would advise using the SA-12, as it usually can still kill them even if they attempt dashing away. As I had mentioned previously, lights really like to take height with their mobility both to attack from and escape. So using a jump pad can help your team chase them down and secure an easy kill. You can also keep lights from taking power positions by taking them yourself first and locking them down with things like turret and the APS. This allows you to both create presence on the map and keeps the enemy team from taking an important position where they would normally have the advantage over you. These power positions are often rooftops or places with lots of cover that have long sight lines into important areas of the map. Lights don't have utility like heal beam and dome shield that can help you take cash outs, so most of the time they rely on making sure that they get a cash out first. That means that if you can prevent them from depositing and instead do it yourself, you have a much better chance at getting the cash out than if you were to try and steal it. And if you think the light is going to try and put a gateway over the cash box and run with it, you could try to get to the cash out station before them. Or if you get the timing just right, you can sometimes grab the box right before it hits the gateway. However, this isn't always consistent, so I wouldn't make it a habit. Because lights like to isolate 1v1 engagements, playing next to your team is fairly important. And while I suggest doing this no matter who you're fighting against, it's especially important with lights. The double heavy plus medium combo, when played right, makes it very hard for lights to kill you, especially when the medium can heal both the heavies. An effective strategy is making a coordinated dive onto a light player using movement utility and RPGs to almost guarantee a kill. And oftentimes there just isn't much a light can do about it. This is the first loadout that I created to counter lights. I have the Guardian turret because it does fantastic chip damage and it's really oppressive to play against as a light player. Pairing this with the model 1887, which can two-shot lights in the proper engagement range, makes this build already very effective against light players. I've chosen the glitch traps as default mainly because they have a wider area of effect than normal mines, and this means that they can't grapple or dash away from your turret and any shotgun shots that you might fire at them. I also have the defibrillator for obvious reasons. For my reserves, I have the FAMAS on backup in case it's a slightly longer range map. I find the FAMAS can often two-burst lights if you have good aim, and I highly recommend it if you're having trouble with LH1 users. I have the zipline for very specific situations such as suspended structures, and I also have the APS turret as a swap gadget. This is very good against lights as most of their utility is throwable items. And finally, I have the explosive mines if you prefer these over glitch traps. All you have to do with this is play around your cover. I'm telling you, if you have trouble with lights, use the model 1887. It's so good. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the high ground. And I think there's another medium up here with me. Here he is. There we go.
First elimination.
We've got some trigger-happy contestants out there.
Strategic, Scotty, is a delicate balance. There's our first team wipe, and it's not a clean one.
Okay, already he's at super low health. My teammate was able to finish him off. All I'm doing, I'm just playing with my team, and I fortified the right locations. That's it. There we go. That light stood no chance against the FAMAS. I also have a heavy build that is arguably even better at countering lights. This one uses the winch claw, and I'm sure some of you are already thinking, doesn't using dash make winch claw useless? And I would agree, if you are running spear or sledgehammer. With the SA-12, I find that I can almost always get the kill on every single light, even the ones that use dash. And while you can still get value out of this build with a melee weapon, I would strongly advise that you try out the SA-12 and see the difference for yourself. I have Dome Shield to both help your team to steal cash outs and to help you close the distance on faraway targets. The RPG is arguably the most important part of this build, as a well-placed shot will leave a light player with 10 HP, making them extremely easy for you or your team to finish off. Finally, I have the barricade for 2 reasons. The first being to block off doorways and vents that lights might use to flank you, and the second reason being that you can create cover out of nowhere, which is especially useful when playing close range weapons, stealing cash outs, or holding power positions. In my reserves, I have the KS-23. This one is really a matter of personal preference, and I tend to swap to this when I have to deal with slightly longer ranges. I also have the explosive mine to deal unexpected damage to lights, and I have the C4 to help you drop cash outs without needing to waste an RPG shot. I also have the motion sensor in case you have a lot of cloak lights, but I would usually recommend using the barricade over this. I'm gonna shield from my teammate right here. There was literally nothing a light player could have done to survive that. I hear some footsteps. There he is. So let's recap on the main things that you need to remember. Lights have a tiny HP pool, and certain weapons and gadgets can do insane damage to them. Make sure you don't let them take high ground or power positions from you. Stay with your team because lights thrive in 1v1 situations. Do your best to deposit cash outs first because they have a much harder time taking them. And don't let them get unnecessary damage in that will give them an advantage in a fight. If you actually start to implement these things into your gameplay, you'll hopefully find fighting lights and other teams in general is a lot easier. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other 2 below and subscribe to the channel for more of the finals content.